Good morning, my gorgeous. It's Papa. It's Monday, the 7th of December. I am at home. Work with the council hasn't started yet, so I am uploading all these voice messages onto YouTube, which I feel very privileged to be able to do. I mean, luckily I had some work, so I got some money to pay rent and food and stuff, and I'm going to use the time in a very productive way to put all these messages up on the internet so you can find them when you're a bit older and see that what I would have spoken to you about if we were communicating, if our phones hadn't been blocked from you. Your phone hadn't been blocked from calling me, and my mama blocked me from calling you. Because, sweet, I want you to know that this is just crazy cakes. Complete crazy cakes. I say that I don't know what happened, and in many ways I don't, but I do know what happened in a way, and that's the spiritual battle. Something terrible took over Mama, and she massively overreacted with emotions and got incredibly bad advice from incredibly poor, morally guided people. So rather than going to somebody that's, had a long marriage, had some problems in the marriage, got through them, etc., like Gucky or other people that have, made their way through life, Mama went for advice from TJ, who is a homosexual and is doing really awful things like making a child in a petri dish with another woman's womb, and then, just somebody like that cannot give good advice, good guidance to somebody on a small marriage issue. They just can't. It's just they don't know what it means to be, heterosexual, living in a marriage, raising children. Their moral compass is completely different. And that doesn't mean that I have anger or anything towards TJ. And most of my life I've felt that I've known him, I felt pain for him, because that way of living is really an awful, dark way of living. And I don't think most homosexuals want to be homosexual, because it's a degeneracy, and it's, my heart aches for them, and I've never wanted it. I've never accepted it before or after being a Christian. It just is wrong, it's heartbreakingly wrong. It's like being able to see somebody that's damaged. That's and I've had many gay friends, etc., but I've never accepted it. And it's to me, it's more of an open wound. It's like having a wound that's, exposed. Anyway, so that's one person who Mama got advice from. She also got advice from Tracy, who, as you know, is massively overweight. And if you're that overweight, you have some kind of emotional issues, and you're replacing your issues with food. So you consume a lot of food to be able to cover. Some people do it with alcohol, some people do it with drugs, some people do it with food. Tracy does it with food, so she's massively overweight. So when somebody is massively overweight like that, again, it's a sign of an open wound. This is not a stable person, a well person. This is, somebody that has lots of issues. And that's that's really, difficult to see. And as you know, she claims to be a Christian, but she married a man that left his wife. And that is 100% not Christian. You cannot do that. That's called adultery. So marrying another woman's husband is adultery. Regardless if they're divorced or not, you're not allowed to marry another man's. You're just not. He has children which he's left behind in Nigeria, and his wife might be crazy, but that's what he did is 100%. What they've both done is 100% wrong. And the other people that Mama took advice and guidance on, Joy, who is completely bonkers. Totally bonkers. Is a child of the 60s, barely able to Mama worked under her, and it was not a good experience at all. Very, very difficult for Mama. And I like Joy. I think she's funny. She's never married. It's like a bizarre feminist, leftist, liberal. She's certainly not somebody that can give marriage advice at all. And then there's Marcus and Margaretha. Marcus and Margaretha are living in the United Kingdom but pretend they hate the United Kingdom. They're constantly undermining the United Kingdom, saying, they had that big Stay in Europe sign on their house. Not just a small sign, but a huge sign. They want Britain to be independent from be its own nation. They also many years ago we went to a Margaretha invited us, I think it was 20-year celebration of being in Britain or something. And then that celebration, she did a PowerPoint presentation of how she tricked the British government into giving her asylum status. So she claims to be from a war-torn country. But as she showed in this PowerPoint presentation, the war was not affecting her at all. She just wanted to come to the UK. She met Marcus in a McDonald's in London, and has basically lived off his earnings ever since. But the issue is that all of us have done things in the past, and then we repent and we become Christians because we realize how far we have fallen away from God. But Margaretha has never repented for this, but she did a presentation in front of, 20, 40 people about how she deceived and lied. And since then, she's made a career out of refugee issues. So she's lied and made money and a career out of something that was a complete lie. So the spirit that took over Mama made her leave Lord in 1 month from being there, was then surrounded by incredibly broken, wounded people. So it's devastating, sweet, and I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that Mama took you.